Hello. All right.
I'm alright,
Andrew,
thank you.
this is the first time we've been on video together. This is exciting.
Are you alright, Sam?
Oh, this is great.
Yes.
Oh, this is news. Morning news.
Yeah.
Wrestling news.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Headlines. An NXT star has had their call-up scrapped. WWE are mixing up the Dusty Rhodes Classic for 2021. And there was a major debut last night on AEW Dynamite. So, Andrew, you know NXT. You know how NXT has all of its wrestlers and everybody loves NXT. And then eventually NXT wrestlers go up to the main roster and sometimes it works really well and sometimes not so well.
Yes.
Well, an NXT star was supposed to apparently recently debut on SmackDown, but had that call-up pulled away from them.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's sad.
So, WrestleVotes are reporting that an NXT talent was being called up on last week's SmackDown, and they were going to get involved in the main event segment with Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, and Kevin Owens, which just devolved into absolute insanity. And if you've not seen it, it's well worth checking out. But Fightful Select are saying that it was meant to be Damian Priest, who was involved. He was going to be involved in that segment. Neither report included details regarding what he would have been doing besides being involved in the angle, but he was apparently supposed to be there. I don't really know how you could insert him. Would he have aligned with Roman, do you think? Or would he be more the type to have aligned with Owens?
I'm not entirely sure. I guess the way that NXT has been going, he's been a bit of a good boy recently.
Yeah.
He's been a good boy. So I think he would have possibly aligned with Owens, but at the same time, it feels like such a weird person to have in there. I mean, his stock has been rising so much, and like I really from when he first came to NXT,
yeah,
and I was like, he's fine. He doesn't seem like he didn't seem like the character that he's finally sort of evolved into now.
Yeah.
So I do get it, because he is really good now, but at the same time, I don't understand why Priest would be in this.
It's one of those weird things, isn't it? Because anybody can be in NXT and on the tear of their life and then get the call up and all of a sudden you're just doing something completely different. But yeah, Priest had sort of, he'd entered into NXT. There was a lot of buzz around him. I mean, look at the guy. He looks like a proper Attitude Era wrestler. He's just huge and intimidating and he has that look and feel about him. But there wasn't really a lot going on. And as you said, he started to come into his own a lot. And it's just, to have called him up this soon, I don't know, it feels really, really early. Like, although it wouldn't be, it's sort of, it's strange. It's like pulling somebody away from the run of their life. I don't know. But yeah, so it basically goes on to say there's no telling when we might see Priest get called up to the main roster. However, the reports could indicate that WWE has interest in calling him up sooner rather than later, which again, as we've said, with all that momentum on his side, it would make sense to capitalize on it. They really do need to start bringing fresh talent in and trying to make a concentrated effort to really boost the product as it is. And there's all that talk about them maybe getting a little bit edgier, and things are starting to, heat up with AEW and everything, and the ratings war going on between both companies. So Priest would make sense to come across, but what a spot that would have been, though. Like, for him to just come straight in and get involved with top-tier talent. That's an Owens-level debut. Like, when Owens rocked up and just took on Cena.
And I don't think anybody would have seen it either. Damian Priest, which sounds like I'm sort of dumping on him here, going like nobody would have thought it. But like, it would have been so good at the same time, because he's getting so much better in the ring as well. Not that he wasn't before, but like you were saying, I think he really is coming into his own now. So.
It would have been almost like a shock debut from another company, like, because I think nobody would have been expecting it. But yeah, I guess we've just got to wait and see, because one day he's going to be on the main roster and absolutely dominating, but it is not this day. Next up, it was confirmed last night on NXT that the next NXT TakeOver event will be taking place on Valentine's Day. What do you make of that?
It's so lovely.
So lovely and cute, yeah. NXT is always going to be rolling on with the takeovers, but February 14th's got a bit of a special, Valentine's Day, bit of a special place in WWE history with Valentine's Day Massacre. So fingers crossed they bring that back. I think that'd be quite interesting. But what do you think's going to be the scene going into this one? Because it's still quite some time off yet, but obviously we're going to be starting to build to that in the coming weeks.
I think there's a few. I think Karrion Kross, he never really lost the title. He never really lost the title, Sam. So I feel like it could build up. It could build up to Karrion Kross and Finn Balor down the line for Karrion sort of to reclaim what he never lost. Or potentially, because Pete Dunne was in the crowd last night during the main event as well, of Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly. Yeah. Perhaps something there as well, unless that happens beforehand, which then leads to the Karrion Kross and Finn Balor stuff. But
they could build to some sort of mental four-way, but it's a long way off for that to happen. But that would be brutal.
That would be cool.
That would be amazingly brutal. But I guess stay tuned here at Cultaholic. We will update you as and when there are any updates to the card. But it's just an exciting time in wrestling. And fingers crossed, Valentine's Day Massacre's back. Again, on last night's NXT, we got another massive announcement from William Regal, and that is that the Dusty Rhodes Classic is getting shaken up a little bit for 2021, because for the first time ever, we're going to have the first women's Dusty Rhodes Classic, and this could be potentially huge, because the NXT women's roster is strong and it's great, but there aren't really a lot of tag teams going on there.
Yeah, it's going to be a strange one, because personally, I can't really think of many. Well, you've got Candice and Indy. They could definitely team together. But other than that, I genuinely can't really think of anyone else.
No, this is it. It's a way to build tag teams, isn't it? And give that sort of platform for a showcase and see what people respond well with and what people enjoy about the teams that are going to be put together here. And I think that we could come out of this with a pretty strong women's tag division if they play their cards right. And it's NXT, so odds on, they're going to play their cards right. Further details, including when the tournament will begin, haven't quite been revealed yet, but the men's 2021 Dusty Classic is going to kick off with the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole and Roderick Strong versus Breezango, and the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Everrise. It's going to take place on NXT next Wednesday. Kurt Stallion and August Gray, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick, Imperium, Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner, Legado del Fantasma, and Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory have also been announced for the tournament. With the exception of 2017, the Men's Dusty Classic has been held annually since 2015. The tournament's been won by Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, the Authors of Pain, Undisputed Era's Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, Aleister Black and Ricochet, and Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. So there's a pretty strong history of great teams that work together winning this one. You got any idea who you're going to pick for the men's side of this?
I think because they've been doing really good things and I think they've been getting a lot of buzz behind them, I'm going to go behind the Grizzled Young Veterans for this one. I'm telling you now, it's going to be the boys. It's going to be the boys. I'm feeling it. I'm down for it. What about yourself?
I think that if Grizzled Young Vets won it, it'd be really interesting dynamic-wise, because obviously they're between NXT UK and NXT US, and having that title and that trophy come across to NXT UK might open things up a little bit more for, all of this rumoured NXT India, the possible NXT Japan, the long-rumoured NXT Mexico, these sort of things. If we open up these competitions to, the wider NXT universe, then it could be quite an interesting prospect.
I like that. That is kind of like what they want to do with the the Heritage Cup as well. I think they were talking about doing stuff like that. That would be kind of cool. I'd be down for seeing that. This is
it. I mean, every single iteration of NXT may have its own signature tournament, and to have, initially it's probably going to be all very localized talents involved with this, but as we're seeing here with the Dusty Rhodes Classic, we've got Grizzled Young Vets in there. It might start opening up to the point where we have competitors from all around the world coming to compete in these various NXT tournaments. So, God, it's such an exciting time.
Please.
And finally, last night on AEW Dynamite, something rather shocking happened, didn't it, Andrew? Didn't it?
Certainly did. It certainly did.
I think we all sort of saw this coming, but I don't think we saw it coming this quickly. The Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, rocked up, aligned with the Young Bucks and Kenny, and we got a reformation of essentially the Bullet Club. This is huge, massive. Everybody's been speculating on how far this relationship between Impact and AEW would go, how far, you know, the talent sharing prospects of all of this would go. And this is just a big old exclamation point. This is the start of something huge, potentially.
Can you imagine now the stock in Impact Wrestling? Think about that. That is such a draw within itself.
I know. The fact that we're getting, you know, an iteration of the Bullet Club, while it may not be official yet, you know, if we do see some sort of New Japan partnership in the works at some point down the line, it may become something a little bit more solid. But this is just, it just felt great, didn't it?
It really did. It really did. And like, obviously with you got the Good Brothers coming in, that was fantastic. And then you got the Young Bucks in there as well, where they was like, oh, won't they? Because they were kind of like, no, don't beat up Moxley and all the other AEW guys. And then they're just like, oh, super kick straight to Varsity Blondes. It was like so good.
They couldn't help themselves. They just immediately flashed back. They were back in New Japan doing it. But yeah, I should probably give some details. Gallows and Anderson's debut came while saving Omega from an attack by Moxley, as you said. The Young Bucks then joined the fray after other members of the roster tried to attack the Good Brothers and Omega, so they're looking out for their buddies there. The AEW announce team heavily pushed this as a reunion of The Club and The Band. I don't know, did WWE trademark The Club? I don't.
Did they? I'm sure they made shirts and stuff.
Yeah, I guess they wouldn't have done it without checking first.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just sort of heavily getting over the fact that, you know, these are members or former members of the Bullet Club, and very, very popular ones at that. But I mean, the scope for this is huge. Do you think we're going to see maybe like a super show of sorts, or a series of super shows leading up to like a big blow-off invasion style show?
Oh my goodness, that would be amazing.
Because for AEW to just do the invasion, but like do it,
how it should have been done,
completely different way. Yeah. It's 2021 is shaping up to be a very, very exciting year for the world of wrestling. But that has been your daily wrestling news from me and Andrew. Is there anything you'd like to say, Andrew?
Two sweet keys, everybody. Get one. Go on, Sam. Get one of them, Sam. There we go.
There you go. But yeah, it's been lovely doing my first news video with you. Here's to many more.
It's been wonderful. Yeah, fingers crossed. Thank you so much.
Catch you in a bit.
Bye.